good night tonight. I thought we did a really good job in the box. Came out swinging, put pressure on them every inning. Pitching was good. I thought Grace was really good tonight. I thought she looked crisp. Just would like to limit overall the walks by both her and Sidne. So, but not bad. I mean, a good night. When you score 11 runs, I don't really have much to.
You touched on a little bit, but why did you add this game? I know McNeese has a high RPI, and you talked about before, and I'm sure there was more than maybe one reason they were available, but why did you add this game?
Yeah, when we lost those 3 games at Texas State, we needed games.
Okay.
And so we have a really good relationship with their coach, James. He's a good guy, and so Harger reached out to him and just said, hey, is there any chance that you're coming our way? And they're a good team. That's the other piece of it is you want to pick up games that make sense for both sides. So we were able to kind of put this together.
Talking about go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, talking about the RPI, they're 31st in RPI, and they have some wins over common opponents like Ole Miss, like Baylor, like Missouri. How are you guys able to limit their offense tonight? I mean, scoring 11 runs.
Yeah.
You can always be happy about that.
Yeah, I think our pitchers are good, and so I think when we execute our pitches, we can hang with anybody in the country. So I think that really is where my head is. I think when we live in the middle part of the plate, we're going to have a hard time. So I think we even talked today in film with the pitchers of I was showing them kind of their heat maps of the last series against Georgia, who is a really good hitting team, and our heat maps look very different than they did at the beginning of the year. And so I just think, as we're getting going and we're growing and getting better, I think they're understanding that. So although I felt like Peters had to work through some things tonight, I think she worked through it still, not giving in to the middle part of the plate. Yeah.
How about how much, once you get press, influences the game? Because she's not swinging a lot,
Yeah.
but her 2 walks lead to runs when she finally gets that opening. And then everything else falls in place. How tough is that when you've got somebody like that? If you're an opposing player, how tough is she for opponents?
Yeah, she's a nightmare. I'm very happy that she's on our team. We've recruited that kid since she was 12. So I think what I really like out of Maya is there's been conference weekends in which she was getting herself out, and she's getting better at her first at bat, they pitched her. She put a great swing on a good pitch, was on time, crushed it. But then you didn't see her chase after that. And I think that's really been Coach Harger's conversation with her is they might give you one at bat in which they pitch to you. But after that, if you deposit like you did, you can't get yourself out. And I think that's kind of her next step. So that's going to be important this weekend is that she kind of takes that into this weekend. But I think Michaela Wark did a really good job behind Maya, and AK got a big hit, and then Kelsey Mathis, I thought, had 2 tremendous hits tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask a follow-up to that a little bit. Kozlowski's had good at-bats recently, and now Edwards looks like she's back to really good groove, so you need those, as you mentioned.
You need those pieces, yep.
And right now, it looks like they're getting better, those people.
Yeah.
Do you see that? You see that in practice?
Yeah, I think, Talon's been in talking with Coach Harger, and they're tweaking with a couple of things. So I think she's in a better place. Wark has just been good, I think, all year, and I think when she hunts her pitches, and I keep saying that, but that really is the magic potion. Is when we start to chase, when we start to expand our zone, it gets really, really hard. And so when we're going to face 70 plus this weekend, you can't give them river on both sides.
And then again, about the bottom, how about 1 week it seems maybe it's Mathis this week. It was a little, what's her face? Allen had a weekend.
Yep.
It looks like maybe it's not the same one, but you're getting production out of this.
Yeah, and that's huge for us because our top has stayed steady, and then we have somebody in the either middle to lower half of our lineup just having games or having series. And so when you put all of that together, I think that's why we've been able to clinch series, is because we're getting contribution from not just the top of our lineup, and maybe they're walking Maya, they're walking Michaela, and then you're getting some people after them being able to execute and crutch in.
To do advance a little about Scotty. Looks like Ole Miss hits a lot of home runs. I forget now. You've probably been over there. What Is it a small park? They have a lot of home runs. You always talk about you got to keep it in the park, but it would seem like by their numbers, this is maybe more than ever.
Yeah, so we've been there. I think it was my first or second year, but it's a brand new facility that opened up last year. I think at the end of last year, I can't remember. So I haven't been to the new place to see what it feels like. So we'll practice there tomorrow night and get a good feel of what that's like. But yeah, I mean they've got some power. I think the first baseman, their DP, I think actually she plays right field. Sorry, both of them have some pretty good power numbers. So it's going to be important for us.
They have like 5 or 6 with 7 home runs.
Yeah.
And then look like pitching wise, they got one girl that has a lot of strikeouts. What about
so Boyer is going to be heavy, 70, 72. She throws hard. Down baller. Acock is probably the same, a little bit less velo, so 68 to 70. But both of them, they have up, but they're primarily down ballers. So, and then they have some pieces along with that, and that's what they've been really good at, is making those changes when they need to. So they have some spinny kids. They have, some kids that have backspin pitches, but maybe don't throw as hard. So you face 72, and then, kind of like what we saw tonight. I mean, going through, how many pitchers did they go through? 4? Yeah.
Wow.
4 in a 5-inning game. I think, really we got 4 innings in for us offensively. So that's what I think has been the difference. And even Georgia, they made a lot of pitching changes, and that's what makes it hard.
I was just going to ask about Mathis, putting her in left field. She had that great catch. What are your thoughts about that?
The kid's just athletic. She's athletic. We were impressed. She didn't even get afraid of that wall. I mean, she
went all the way back.
Yeah, she just went and got it. She enjoys this game. She plays it with the joy of a 12-year-old kid, and I just think you can feel it. The team feels it, and she's just happy to be out on the field. I mean, there's another kid that, came to us, has caught. Obviously, I've known her. You guys know this for a long time. She used to play shortstop, third base, first base. She's kind of played it all, and we're like, hey, can you go out in the outfield? She's like, yeah, give me the glove. Let's go. So she just. You enjoy kids like that, but we've had a whole team of that. Think of AK. That was AK. Talon Edwards, Gold Glove third baseman. I'm going to play second base. KK Dement last year playing second base because we had Coco Woolley, who's probably the most athletic kid I've ever coached in my career. We just have that. Frankie Vrazel's an infielder now playing outfield. So I think that's what really makes this team special, is that selflessness. Yeah.
Okay, Kelsey, talk about this power. I mean, which ball you hit tonight did you like the most?
I'd say the last one, just because I think the second one, she probably should have caught it. So.
You just seeing the ball better right now, or where's your game at?
I think for me right now, it's just like slowing the game down. Kind of get caught in the big moments, and especially with runners on, I need to do my job. In the past couple at-bats I've had, I haven't been doing that, so it's really just like slowing the game down and focusing on what I need to do for my team.
Cease mentioned it earlier, but it seems like every weekend there's somebody else that comes and steps up. How nice is it to have such a versatile roster? And Kelsey, tonight, I mean, how did you feel being that versatile player?
It feels great. I'd say I love that we are able to all have our weekend. If we could all have our weekend at the same time, it would be a really good weekend. So just figuring out how more of us can step up too at the same time would be really good for us.
I just want to touch a little bit on y'all's field. So McNeese scored their second batter of the entire game, and then they didn't score the rest of the time. Kind of what have y'all done to limit their scores and limit their runs?
I just think that it goes by each inning. We have to win each inning. So they scored first, and we just had to answer back and then not allow them to score anymore. So we let runners on, but we're going to figure out each inning how we can stop that runner from scoring. So it's just going out by out and just not letting them take advantage of us in their times that they get on.
Sidne, there were a couple batters that went 3-2. You got the better of them, striking them out. There was, I think you had 2 walks. So what is the difference that you think you could make between walking on a 3-2 count and striking somebody out?
I just think executing pitches earlier in the counts. I gotta get ahead more and execute, like spreading my zones, letting them get themselves out, letting my defense work, and I just think overall getting ahead and then working through the zone to get them to try to get themselves out.
Sidne, if you had to change your mental approach, it seems like at one time maybe you were just a starter, but now you're coming in, saving games, you turn around, starting the game, and I mean, I don't know how much notice you get or whatever, but have you had to change like your mental approach, let's say in the last year of how you pitch?
I just, whenever my number's called, I just, you always just have to be ready. I think this past weekend, the closing situations were a little different for me, but it was also like fun at the same time. Those situations are, they're not easy, but they're rewarding if you do your job. So, but just always making sure I'm ready, honestly, like when my number's called, just making sure my process stays the same, really just in any point in the game. I go in, start, close, go in the middle of the game, just really I just need to make sure it all stays the same. So,
both of y'all, first trip to Ole Miss, have you had a chance to scout yet, or what's going to be key? I mean, they beat Tennessee one game, almost won another game. What do you see about your matchup for both of y'all with Ole Miss?
I really just think a big thing is for us is just going to keep playing Aggie softball. I feel like as long as we execute starting in the circle, I think we'll be set up good for the rest of the weekend, and just execute on both sides of the ball also, and just make sure we do the little things right. I think that's going to be really, really big for us this weekend. They're a good team, and we're going down there, so it's going to be a really good test for us.
Anything to add there, Kelsey?
No, I agree. Just sticking to our plan and what we know we need to do. They're going to have the home field advantage, so just understanding that no matter where we go, it's just the same as we play here. Yeah.
Kelsey, how's your mindset changed a little bit? I know in the beginning of the year you were in as a pinch hitter, coming in and out of position. So how's your mindset changed going into the back half of the season?
I would say it hasn't really changed much, just because even if I go in as a pinch hitter, I still have a job to do. So every at bat I have a job to do, whether it's to get myself on and work our way back to the top of the lineup, or it's to move runners. And so I just think it really just it stays the same. You have a plan and process, and you have to stick to it.
You ladies surprised Maddie caught that ball when it was going back like that?
Oh God.
A little bit. I told her I was kind of scared because the runner at first, she was off, and she was like, "Why was that girl off so far?" And I was like, "Maddie, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think you were gonna catch it either." So she was ready to go if you dropped it.
It just kept carrying too. Like at first we were like, all right, and then it kept going. So like, oh, okay.
I just had to tell her room and hope she trusted me.
No, that was good though. That was great.